AITA for not bringing supplies to my friend anymore? Update. So back on New Year's, I made a post about not bringing supplies up to my friend who was living on a mountain anymore. 0.006 AITA _ not _ bringing _ supplies _ to _ my _ friend. I did end up going back up the mountain with my friends, but like I said, I didn't bring supplies. We all tried to talk to him to come down, but he refused. I was pretty disheartened, but he made choice, and so had I told him I wouldn't be back, but if he ever wanted to come down, my door was always open to him. About a month later, I was surprised when there was a knock on my door and I opened it and it was him. He was so thin and dirty, but seeing him off the mountain made me happy. I got him cleaned up and now he's staying with me. I was a bit surprised that he didn't want to go home to his mom, but had told me I was the only one who made an effort to better for him when he was acting unreasonable and that he wanted to stay with me if that was okay. So yeah, he's living with me now and who knows what the future holds.
AITA for not paying my mum rent for the 2 weeks I stayed at her house? I, 23F, do not get along with my mum or stepdad, so I would never willingly stay at their house except for emergencies. My great-grandmother was on her last legs, so mum wanted to fly over to see her own last time. While I don't like my mum, I'm also not a monster like her. They wanted me to watch my little brother, 8M. Hoy was happy to watch since my other brother, 17M, works all day and some nights, and my sister, 19F, is an irresponsible witch if a woman just like mum. I agreed under the condition sister wasn't allowed to stay there while I was. Now that they are back, they are asking for the rent for the 2 weeks, $900. I stayed since I took up the whole house, making my sister leave for the 2 weeks, and they weren't there either, so they shouldn't have to pay the rent for the time they weren't there. I told them sure, I'll take it off the babysitting bill and that they owe me $5,820. If my math is correct, that the payment for $20 an hour minus the $900, if they want to play this game. AITA?
AITA for being ticked off my GF won't eat seafood? I am making a nice Sunday dinner tonight that has seafood in it, and my GF has informed me that she won't be eating it because it has seafood in it and that instead she will be having chicken nuggets from the freezer. This is bothering me because I know that she isn't allergic and seafood won't make her sick or anything. She just doesn't like it. I've seen her eat it before, but that is a very rare occurrence. This has been okay in her family growing up, which is foreign to me. Her father doesn't like seafood, and to accommodate him on Christmas, her grandfather makes her dad steak while the rest of the family eats seafood. For me and my family, if you didn't like something, it more so meant that you wouldn't order it if you went out to eat, but you'd still eat it if someone served it to you. For her and her family, it means that you never ever have to eat anything that you don't thoroughly enjoy eating. AITA for thinking that she is being childish. Edit. The seafood I'm making isn't like a filet au flounder or shellfish or something like that. I'm making crawfish étouffée, which is a dish with a lot of ingredients mixed together. There was seafood in it by looking at it, or if you were eating it for the first time. Edit 2. This has been eye-opening for me. Thank you for all of you that have replied. I am the *SSHOLE. I have since apologized and will change the way I view this topic going forward. Edit 3. Just wanted to summarize a lot of my replies in one place. I told her that I want to make this for Sunday dinner earlier in the week. We haven't had seafood for dinner in the few years we've lived together, and we do not go out to seafood restaurants, so yes, I made this selfishly for myself. I was hoping that she would eat it, try it, but that was something I shouldn't have done. I'd also like to share that we are not arguing about this. I brought my feelings to this to see if I was being an *SS-hole, and I was. I'm not throwing crawfish across the room in a seafood-fueled rage because she won't eat my étouffée. We talked about it and we are okay. Edit 4. For a post where hundreds of people are calling me an *SS-hole, this has been a pretty therapeutic experience to get feedback, constructive criticism from so many people. If I had one for this sub, it would be that we all tried to comment level-headed things, so @SS-hole will take the constructive criticism instead of getting defensive. For the most part, all comments here have been respectful and level-headed, but there have been a few that were particularly harsh that I could imagine would make Oz dig their heels in with their opinion. I'm not asking for y'all nicer to me lol, just an observation for the future. Again, thank you to all that have read and given me your opinion. I am the **SS edit 5. For those of you still reading, I think AMAJOR disconnect with this whole thing is that there isn't a food that I'd refuse to eat. I eat everything. There are just different levels of how much I like. 1. Love it. 2. Every now and then. 3. Last resort. But still like. So when someone used to tell me that they don't like a food, in my mind it just meant that they'd prefer to eat something higher on the like scale. I never knew there were such strong negative opinions towards food. Things like getting just thinking about a certain type of food was never even something I considered as a possibility.
AITA for assuming we'd be splitting the bill? I recently went on a date with a girl I met on Tinder, and it went well until it was time for the bill. Apparently up until that point I'd assumed we'd be splitting it while she had assumed I'd be paying the whole bill. The reason she assumed thesis because I picked the restaurant, and I'll admit it is kind of expensive. However, I assumed that if it was out of her price range she would have suggested a more affordable option. When I asked her how we were going to split it, she got embarrassed because apparently she earns minimum wage and lives with her parents, so she couldn't afford what she ordered. I'll admit I was a little annoyed because I'd assumed we'd be splitting the bill. However, I paid for both of our sand, then we left. Later that night I got a text message from her calling me an **SS for embarrassing her like that in the restaurant. I apologized for assuming we'd be splitting the bill, and told her she shouldn't expect for someone to buy her a meal she can't afford herself. After this she blocked me, and I was just wondering, AITA in this situation. Edit. For some context, when I say I picked the restaurant I mean that I'm the one who suggested the restaurant we went to. I didn't unilaterally say, we're going to X restaurant. There was an open dialogue about the plans. She said she wanted to meet up, I suggested dinner and asked if there was anywhere she wanted to go. When she said no isn't the restaurant's menu, and she agreed to go there. Update. AITA for not changing our wedding rule for my future sister-in-law. Link to original post. EP0L. AITA for not changing our wedding rule for my. Firstly, I want to thank everyone for their insights and advice, and I've had a couple of requests for an update. So here it is. We got married last Saturday and everything went perfectly. Everyone and everything was where it was supposed to be, when it was supposed to be, and if there were any issues, I didn't hear about it. My older sister arrived a week and a half before the wedding, and she's like a miniature tornado when SHE gets going. She firmly told me not to worry about Lisa and that she would deal with her. I had no doubt about that. Lisa brought up Chloe coming to the reception once again the day after I posted, and my husband. I love seeing that smiley face, and I told her that if she tried to bring Chloe in, the both of them would bear a move. We didn't hear anything more from Lisa following that instance. A few people wondered what Chloe thought about it, and she told us that she thinks adults are boring and she'd rather spend time with her cousins and other kids. So, when my older brothers turned up a few days before the wedding, all of them were laughing about how my sister was doing her guard dog routine with Lisa and wasn't letting her anywhere near either of our mothers. My sister is tiny, 4 feet 11 inches and petite, but a powerhouse behind it. It turned out that my sister was the one keeping her at bay, and you can bet she got a very large bottle of wine, and thanks for my husband and I, the day was as close to perfect as it could get. We only found out 2 days later that Lisa had tried to sneak Chloe into the reception and had been intercepted by all of my siblings. I have 6. Well before reaching the Halland had been told that she could either send Chloe upstairs with the other kids or they could both leaving the event completely. Knowing it would make her look bad and she'd never hear the end of it from her family, Lisa sent Chloe upstairs and has been sulking since. There have been a few passive-aggressive Facebook posts which no one seems to care about, but that's about it. So, no epic temper tantrum, no forceful removals for its sisters, just some words from my terrifying sister, and that was that. Everyone had a good time, and when we went to check on them later, all the kids were passed out in positions that gave me chills and pains just from looking at them, so we know they had fun. I want to thank everyone again for their insight. It was very helpful and set me at ease that we wasn't in the wrong for sticking with our rule.
Update. AITA for telling my fiancé that my friend's trauma is more important than her comfort. Original. Since my first post, I have had 3 conversations with my fiancé relating to this topic. The first didn't go well. I still had a lot of walls up that didn't allow me to engage properly. I didn't get angry, I just didn't say much at all. My fiancé told me what a lot had already assumed. She didn't feel like a priority. She was hurt by my comment and my actions. She gave me specifics on what needed to change if we were to continue. I told Harry needed time, and she went back to the parentee's house for the night. I took this night alone to truly think over the things she had requested. No more late-night visits and other harsh boundaries being put into place, and tried to imagine a life where that happened. The second conversation was much more impactful. I took feedback I was given here, which mainly centered around honesty and apologies. I told her that I was sorry for waking her up and for not treating her how a fiancé should. I also told her I was sorry I hadn't been prioritizing her, but that I couldn't. At least not in the top, number one spot. The gist of my side was this: my life partner, in a lot of ways, has already been chosen. It might change in the future, but as of right now, my friendship is the most important relationship in my life. He isn't just like family to me, he is family to me. That goes beyond just the two of us. His little brother is my little brother. My mom and dad have all but officially adopted them into our family and vice versa. Our lives are enmeshed and have been since we were 15. I had been doing a disservice to her by pretending that I could put anyone else over this familial unit that has already been built. This conversation was difficult for us both. We cried together, we attempted to compromise, but the truth of it all boiled down to, if he needs me, or even just wants me, I'm going to do everything reasonably in my power to be there. We again took the night for ourselves to process. And that leads us to the final conversation, which was about our future. She told me she had known the end was coming and had begun to accept it long before our conversation. I agreed. We're also planning a "Move Jess Out" party between just USTWO where we try to have fun with it and reconnect as friends. She told me, in customary breakup fashion, that she's going to cut bangs in my bathroom at some point during this planned night. So, was I the ****hole for saying that my friend's trauma was more important than her comfort? Yeah, I was. Not only because it was harsh, but because I didn't say it sooner so she could make an informed decision about whether it was a life she wanted or not. Now she gets that. I feel gracious and humbled by her forgiveness and understanding, and thankful to commenters who provided insight. ETA no. I'm not planning any more romantic relationships for a while. Point 2 My number one priority is Nolan, not my entire family. He and I are the familial unit I referred to.